Yep.
Alex Kane, and why we're going to be rooting for him.
Alex Kane. Alex Kane is an ex-FBI systems analyst who goes rogue while he's working abroad. He realizes that instead of the guy asking the questions, he's a lot better at pulling the trigger, and he gets addicted to this endorphin rush of what it means to be the guy pulling the trigger and putting the bad guys in the ground. We find him in Las Vegas. He owns and runs a private security firm, and he gets mixed up in basically a high-concept conspiracy game where wealthy people are gambling on crime and influencing world news and world history. Not much, really. It's a small concept, you know.
Well, he's also married initially. We know that doesn't last
Right.
very long. So maybe you could set up why he gets involved with these people, why he feels so heavy to be part of it.
Without giving too much away, Alex Kane, he gets involved in the house, which is this high-concept conspiracy, because someone very dear to him dies. And basically, he has nothing to lose. He has this mindset going into the house and going in to meet Mr. Johnson and Charity Wakefield's character, Cassandra, that I want to get something out of you guys. You guys have the tools and the skill set to help me, and we're all using each other for different reasons. And that's kind of where we end in the pilot, is who's using who for what, and how is this going to unfold over the rest of the series.
We were already told that Cassie might have kind of inadvertently roped him in, or maybe intentionally roped him in. Is that going to put a bone of contention between them, or does he even aware that she was kind of instrumental in his presence being there?
And sorry, so who's this getting roped in?
Alex is being roped in.
Alex is being roped into the house. Yeah, absolutely. He knows that he's being played, but he doesn't care because his motive is to help him. It's just to basically clear his conscience. He needs to answer a question. Once he does that, I think he doesn't care what happens to him. He says in the pilot, he sits down and has a talk with his detective friend. He says, I don't care if you throw me in jail. I'm safer to everybody if I'm in jail. So if you let me out, I will continue to cause havoc because I need an itch scratched, and I will do it.
So when you got on the show, did you demand that you have a fight scene with Wesley Snipes?
It's funny because it wasn't in the first script, and then there was a rewrite where I was like, of course Wesley Snipes has a scene where he kicks my ass, and it was great. Look, he's such a professional. He is the real deal. I'm sure you guys know that he comes from a karate background, and to work with him and to learn from him. I grew up in the 80s and 90s. He was the biggest action star. So to walk into that room, I have that same feeling every day on set that you guys had a minute ago when he was sitting here. He's a badass. It's great.
You have a lot of action sequences.
Hi.
Does your background in Strike Back, did that help with all the action?
It really did. It really also helped push the producers to let me do things. There was the motorbike stuff, the jumping through the window. There was these things, taking the hit and fighting for real. There was these things where they were like, we'll bring in the stunt guy. And I was like, no, it's okay. Let's keep the camera on. Let's do it. Barrett, our director, realized that I was riding the motorbike, and we were up here in a nice tight single, and he said, whoa, let's swap the lens, let's get back, drop back on the dolly, and get a nice wide, so we see that it's you riding the motorbike. So I think there's a lot of stuff we learned in the pilot that we're going to continue to incorporate in the season, and it's that 80s action that we had on Strike Back that I personally, and I know Michael Bassett, who's coming over to direct a couple episodes on The Player, we want to incorporate in The Player and NBC and network television, because I don't think we've seen that for a while. So we can bring that Cinemax, Strike Back-y, cowboy, crazy energy that we had, bring it and stick it on network television. I think people will like that.
So you mentioned that your character has an itch to scratch.
Yeah.
What is the biggest challenge for you to play a character that is rather morally ambiguous?
Yeah, well, it's interesting to play because the lines are blurred. I came out of a background of a military character on Strike Back. The line was always moving. And with Alex, the line was always moving because of what he did and what he was addicted to, getting addicted to the fix of finding answers and putting bad people where they needed to be. When he loses this, trying not to give it all away, when he loses this person in his wife, in his, there you go, Phillip. Well done. When he loses this person in his life, delete that, there's no line anymore. He doesn't care how he gets his answers. He has nothing to lose. He wants to be, he just wants to get the answer to why this happened and who did it. Because it's basically a revenge story then, isn't it? It's like, all right, who did this and how can I ruin their life? And that's basically what drives him forward. But we have to make him interesting. He can't just be this guy who's just working out of revenge and darkness and all this stuff. We have to keep him light, and that's where exploring the character, there has to be this John McClane in him. He has to be this guy who's just begrudgingly being the hero, the guy going, I gotta jump off a building. Shit. Let's do it. Let's just do it. I know it'll save the day. Let's do it. Not Strike Back, it was Michael Stonebridge who was doing it because he was a machine. Alex isn't a machine. He wins fights and he wins people over because of tenacity and because he's just learned, that's the way he does it.
Thank you. Thanks.